training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners.
Team, welcome to Training Partners, where two fitness professionals bring you strong takes held loosely. I'm Weezy Shoemaker, joined by Justin McClintock. And if you're watching the video feed, you might notice that we are in a different space. And I say we, like the royal we of Sustained, are in a different space.
I did wear my Sustained green today to
I see
try
that.
and blend in.
I like it. We can't even tell that we're in a different place.
Exactly.
How are
No, it's
you?
great. I'm fantastic. I actually had a very productive day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I am operating at the brain capacity of a toad,
Mhm.
which is making me slightly less productive. But we're doing our best.
So it's interesting, completely on only because we stay in pretty close touch. Utterly by circumstance, our two gym projects are almost exactly on the same schedule with each other. Like
Yeah.
nothing was happening for a long time, and suddenly it's all progressing really quickly. And I do have this giant to-do list, which is only about 20% done for today, but I've still gotten a lot done. I don't know if that resonates with you. Like I've been very productive. I've gotten a lot done. I feel very behind and I don't know how I'm going to catch up. But it's not because I haven't been dilly-dallying or procrastinating. There's just a lot to do this week.
Yeah. I relate to that. I actually don't have a ton left on my list for today, but I have a ton on just like the other perpetual list.
Yeah.
Um
Well, you've got a bunch of
and not
outstanding stuff.
right.
You're just like sitting around and waiting for things to show up. And
Right. And right before I popped into this recording, I got an email from a HVAC vendor with whom I did not agree to a contract. I did not sign an operating agreement. They came out to give me an estimate and they're trying to bill me for it. And so I'm really looking forward to responding to that because we have no agreement. So I don't know you a goddamn thing.
no, you don't. It wasn't a service call. It
Right.
was,
No, he walked in the front door and told me it's going to cost $500 for the unit to replace, like, I want to update the wall HVAC
Mhm.
unit, not the HVAC itself that's up on the roof, but just the
Got it.
like Nest or
Yeah.
Ecobee or whatever it is, right? Wanted $550 just for the hardware. I could walk into Lowe's right now and spend
Yeah,
less than $200 on it.
that's an easy DIY.
hmm And hey, we expect this to take 2 to 3 hours of labor. How did you come by that number? Because you haven't seen the unit yet. He's like, that's just how long it's going to take. Okay, great. I'm not going to spend that kind of money. Thanks for your time. We were together maybe 90 seconds, and they're trying to
Right.
bill me
And
for
they
it.
didn't
Like, you can,
have you
right?
agree. There's not a recording of you
No,
agreeing to. No. Okay. Yeah.
no. I've signed nothing.
No.
Go ahead and try to report me.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Put a lien on my business. Let's see how that goes.
Yes. I know this struggle well.
So, while the list of today is actually like 60 minutes of focus time, and I could absolutely be done with
Mhm.
everything that I need to get done today. The running, like, call it stock ticker of other things is very loud at the moment.
The inbox is growing. You just can't quite reach it. So
Right,
this is what we
right,
got today. Yeah.
right.
I like that.
So to that end, I have absolutely no idea what we're here to talk about today. I did not check what our theme is. I have brought myself and a segment and 2 beverages.
I mean, that seems like you're over prepared. So I think that's just fine.
Great, wonderful.
So I have titled the episode today, How's My Form? I want to talk
Oh.
about form and exercise and lifting and a couple things about like what is it? What does it mean? Why do we care so much? Where does this come from? I don't really have a destination. I suspect we're pretty aligned on some of this stuff, but I thought this might
hmm
be an interesting conversation because I feel like it's a thing that comes up really early, especially
Yeah.
with people who are newer to exercise or for some reason hesitant or worried about exercise or maybe a specific exercise, the I'm really worried. I need someone to look at my form. I'm sure my form isn't good enough. I feel like I hear that a lot. Does that
Mhm.
check out with you?
Yeah, that checks out. A lot of people, when they're just getting started or if they're returning after a period of absence, particularly if the absence was caused by an injury of some sort, are really concerned with, well, how does this look? Does it look right? Is this correct? Am I doing this the right way?
Yeah, 100%. And there's so many nuances and differences. And especially if we're working in person with someone or if I'm doing like remote analysis in someone's video,
Mhm.
there's 1,000 points of performance we can talk about on almost every movement.
Right.
And overwhelmingly, most of the time, yeah, it's pretty good. Which I mean sincerely. Is it perfect? No. I've seen very few perfect movements in my life. But is it more than good enough to, squeeze some juice out of it and we can refine it? There's no reason to be afraid of? Yeah. It's actually
Yeah,
fine. And I would like to kind of, I don't know, bust the myth of form a little bit, I think.
I like that. Let's
So,
go.
what is form, anyways? I think when I think of form, when I hear someone say form, because this is also, I think it's fair to say, it's a term that isn't really used in the coaching community. Like we will talk
Mm,
about technique or methodology or points of performance. I don't ever really talk about form. Form is something I hear from uh, you know, normies, normal people, people who don't consume this stuff, with a fire hose all day long. I don't know about yourself.
yeah, I I I had never thought about it that way, but I don't think I've heard a actual professional use the word form to describe a movement in a very long while.
Me either. And I think partly I think that's because we associate with some pretty good professionals for the most part. But I think
Right.
form also like gets loaded with all of this fear. But when I hear someone say form, I hear technique, maybe what it looks like, and especially I
Mhm.
kind of hear the right way to do it. Like
Right.
I need to mind my form. I'm worried about my form. I'm worried I'm not
Mm.
doing this right. And that I
Mhm.
think is something we can kind of bust apart because spoiler, there's probably not one right way.
Well, I'm sure that you're gonna get there, but even when we're thinking about, like, any type of squat variation, right, what it looks like is going to be wildly dependent on things like your range of motion, your femur length, right? The literal anatomical structure of your bones are going to determine whether you look more lean forward and more scrunched up or more upright. And if you're squatting next to somebody with super long femurs and you yourself have shorter femurs, you might think, I'm doing it wrong because it doesn't look like theirs, when in fact you're doing exactly what you should be doing for the setup of your body.
Exactly. It's perfect for you, but it doesn't look like them, or it doesn't look like the coach demonstrating it, or
Right.
doesn't meet some, frankly, completely arbitrary standard set by a competitive board or a certain modality or whatever. You know,
Right.
squatting below parallel, the only reason that exists is because it's really easy to judge where parallel is.
Yeah.
There's nothing particularly special about squatting just below parallel. There isn't. It's easy to
Right.
judge. It
When
doesn't
does
matter.
it become a squat? Please, squat police, tell us. At what point is this squat squatty enough to get
But
the
for
squat
real,
sticker?
I,
Yeah,
I think
right.
I think this is a great place to break it apart because you just described a couple of different squats, and in one, someone will kind of may look or perceive that they're very bent over, and another,
Mhm.
they might look or perceive that someone is very upright. But if you look at their legs are in the exact same angles in the exact same positions.
Right.
But because of their
Yeah.
limb length differences and bone length differences, their torso looks different. So
Right.
are they doing the exact same thing or is it a very different thing? Never even mind like where we're loading the weight, if it's a high bar, low bar, or goblet, or et cetera, et cetera. But these are all squats and they might all be right for the
Right.
person. I always come back to, well, I don't know. What are we trying to do?
Right. What's the point?
What's the point? What's the stimulus? Why are we doing this to begin with? And if the
Mhm.
point is, oh, I want to be a competitive power lifter, then great. We should find out the way you can move the most weight and hit this competitive standard. If the
Right.
weight is like most of the folks you and I work with, well, I want to uh, move better, feel stronger, have a more active life, be healthy, restore my function, get back to all the activities I love, show up for my family the way I want to, be a better community member, all of these things. Okay, cool. So now we're probably talking great mobility, great strength, something that's pretty sustainable, something we can progress on. That may well be a quote unquote quarter squat. I program
Right.
quarter squats all the time for people who can squat much deeper than that because it's the right thing, because it's what we're working on.
Right. Yeah. I think that makes perfect sense, and it always depends on why are we doing this. And so if you're somebody out there who's like, "Well, I just want somebody to tell me what the right thing is," we can't without a little bit more information. What do you want to use it for? Do you want to be able to choose a non-handicapped bathroom stall? Great, then maybe it matters where we squat to, right? Or maybe you work in a school and the only bathrooms you have access to are like the kindergarten height toilets. Awesome, cool. It's probably really important for you that we squat low. For all other people, maybe it doesn't matter as much. And if you're training with somebody who has a different body setup than you are, which is probably true, don't compare yourself to them, right? I'm going to use Ted and I as an example. He's a full foot taller than I am, and his hip crease is only about an inch and a half higher than mine is. He is a
Oh,
torso creature, right?
the torso
I
creature.
mean, he's just
Anyone
like
who wants to do
all
the fan art of Ted as torso creature, we will absolutely publish it, by the way.
he's just like 60% body. If we ever post a full body picture, you'll not be able to unsee it because you'll be like, "Oh my god, he's a full head and change taller than her, but
Right,
look at where their hips are."
right,
Our squats look wildly different, and I for a while was like, I hate that my squat looks so hunched over. I look like crunched together. I don't like it. It's visually not the way that I'd like to look. I can't keep a proud chest. That doesn't work for me. That's because I was comparing to somebody who has a full foot more
right.
torso than I do.
Yeah, his
Like,
chest just
that's
keep going.
right. Yeah. So, yeah, they look different, and that's not something to be fixed.
Yep. No, not at all. And breaking people of those ideas, kind of breaking those beliefs is tough. And sometimes it involves digging into kind of, well, where did these ideas come from to begin with? Like, where
Right.
did these standards, where did the right way to do things come from? A ton of it is like bro science anecdotes. And to be clear,
Right.
like bro science is, and we say bro science, it's usually like kind of anecdotal gym wisdom passed down through bodybuilders and weird forum posts and all of this
Right.
stuff. But it's potent. It's stuff that lives on and people kind of inherently know. And whenever you see
Right.
someone jump up and do a pull up and they immediately cross their ankles, I'm like, bro science. There's basically no reason to do that, but the world does it because it was published in a exercise demonstration manual in like the 50s. So
Right.
everyone started doing pull ups with their ankles crossed.
Right.
So it's a lot of bro science. A bunch of it comes from kind of safety anecdotes, like people trying really hard with their heart in the right place to say, well, if you do it this way, you won't get hurt.
Bullshit.
Exactly. It's irrespective of all the anatomical differences, all the training differences, how much you've done this before really matters, how adaptable you are, and why we're doing it in the first place, as we just said.
Right. And what else is putting water in my bucket, which we've talked about before, right? Like, something could be exactly correct for your anatomy and moving you in the direction of your goals. And if you're walking around stressed to the gills, not sleeping enough, have a meaty deadline at work or a really difficult season at home, and you're way up to the eyeballs in stress, and then you walk in and you try to do the perfect plan for you, you're probably still going to encounter some big obstacles.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything where you like ran into someone that you like or respect or treated as an authority source or maybe a company or whatever, where you
Hmm.
were moving one way and they said, actually, this is the right way to do it. And you tried to stuff yourself into a box that didn't fit?
Yes, actually, recently. And I don't know. I might ask you to edit this out later. Let's see how it
Sure.
plays out. But I made the decision to leave the strength and conditioning class that I'd been going to because of several run-ins like this
Because
that were
previously,
not.
listeners will know you had been having a pretty good time there.
Hmm. Right. Um, so it's very much like this is the point of performance. This is how you perform it. This is how you're expected to do it. And any deviation from that is going to be questioned. I genuinely don't believe it's from a place of malice is the wrong word, but just, well, yeah, this is how you do it. So I need you to do it this way.
There, someone's
And
trying to be a good coach.
right, someone's trying to be a good coach. Hey, you know that there's not tempo program today. Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Right.
You look too
Um,
controlled,
yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, the point is power. Like, or you couldn't have possibly done 2 laps in that amount of time. You're right. I did 1 lap. It's written as 2 laps. Sick. Without any, like, yes, that might be true and there might be a great number of reasons for why the coach would like the things to be executed a certain way. My problem with it was that there was never the like, "Huh, why are you doing it that way?" Right? It was always just like, "This is the way that we're doing it. You need to do it this way."
It's such a
Um,
bummer.
and so nothing, truly, honestly, like I likely will go back because also there was a scheduling component because now my time in the car has changed. When I need to be walking out the door has changed, and that was kind of at odds a little bit with that class time anyway. Would
Mhm.
it have been workable if I walk out the door like 5 or 6 minutes early? Absolutely, but then I'm having to miss out on the finishing piece of the workout, right? Like, I don't want to do that. I want to do the full thing. And because it's a class, I don't have the ability to be like, oh, well, I'll just go in 10 minutes earlier. No, no,
Right.
it's timed, right? Hey, we're warming up. Okay, great. We're going to start the bench clock in X amount of time, right? So it wasn't just, hey, we're actually doing it this way. Could you do it this way? It was several things. But it's interesting that you bring this up because that is a part of the equation of why I decided I need to do something different for a season.
Totally. That makes sense. Timeout. Something's beeping. Hold on. I think I know what it is.
Just me and my beer. Waiting on Justin to come back from the beeps. I know he's going to use this for something. Just going to go down here.
This house came with an alarm system that wasn't active and we didn't get a thing of how to use it, but it's still installed. I woke up 1 o'clock
Yeah.
this morning to this beeping and
Yeah.
like through very tired eyes, like smashed buttons and turned it off, but it just started again.
Mm hmm. Mm
So that tells me it's going to go off again at 3 o'clock this morning. So I need to solve it by
hmm.
tonight.
Mm hmm. I think you're going to really enjoy the like awkward response I had to being alone on camera.
Oh, there's going to be so much bonus footage from this one.
It's going to be really good B-roll.
Or as we were. So you had this situation in class where the coach was not, it sounds like not entirely explaining the stimulus, but certainly unwilling or unable or incurious about where you were at and why things were happening and
Right.
trying to direct you into a very strict standard that you know enough that you don't fit in. And there was some
Right.
tension there.
Right. I wouldn't necessarily say that the stimulus wasn't clear. The stimulus was clear
Okay.
and I was adapting what was written on the board so that I would hit that stimulus without causing problems. And I had a conversation with somebody over the weekend about this as I was kind of like chewing on making a change.
Mhm.
And she said, "Well, it really sounds like there's a lack of curiosity here. And I know that that's one of your core tenets. And so that seems like it'd be a real problem." I'm like, yeah, I'm really wrestling with it because I really enjoy this place and these people. And I've been going long enough that I'm expected there and there's expectations of me and it's fun, it's helpful. And I'm running into this like maybe 25% of the time.
Yeah. And that's can be an awkward especially as an accomplished professional as yourself. I've been in situations like that, and I feel like I know you well enough to know that you would never do anything to embarrass a coach who is in the process of coaching,
Right.
where you
Right.
could, there someone else in your situation, when they came back and said, "It's supposed to be 2 laps," could stop and explain very clearly why you were doing 1
Right.
lap and maybe questions they should ask next time if this ever happens again.
Right.
I imagine you didn't do that and just sort of moved on, but we're like, "You could have asked, buddy." Like, why did
Right.
one
Well,
question would
right.
have solved this
I'd
problem.
I'd gladly tell you, and the reason was that, we were farmer carrying for 400 meters, and I was starting to get some medial nerve tinglies, and I
Mhm.
know where that goes for me, and I wanted to move on.
Yeah, and if you had known that, you probably would have told me to stop.
Right.
I
But you
pulled
didn't
up,
ask.
you didn't ask and just told me to go back out without any curiosity at all.
Right. It's very like football coach to me, which
Totally.
kind of tracks because that's also a thing that's happening there. So it's like,
Yep.
okay, if this is happening 25% of the time and I'm already kind of like teeter tottering on the edge of making a change because of the logistics of it, I'm just going to make a change.
I had one where I've been certainly training for at least 7 or 8 years at this point, and I was in a pretty meaty strength program that I was really enjoying, and it was like a lot of big power lifts combined with some
Mm,
fairly challenging athletic stuff. Like, like you could see influences of CrossFit on it, but like
yeah,
heavy squatting, heavy pulls, heavy pressing, and then like run with a sandbag and do a bunch of strict pull-ups and things like that. And I was having a great time and getting really strong. And I got the note, "Hey, around here, we only squat with our toes straight ahead for all of these reasons. This because this and this pressure and this kind of thing." I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, I feel like I'm a pretty good squatter. I've been squatting for a while, and I squat with a little bit of a turnout. Not much, but a
yeah.
little bit, and that's where I'm comfortable. It's like, "Okay, here we go." And I did it for probably 3 months and never liked it and ended up with a hip flexor/labrum slash labrum injury that messed me up for about a year.
That's so frustrating
And
because it just, it's just a question, right?
exactly.
It just takes being open to asking, hey, I noticed that you're doing this way. We generally do it this way. Um, no judgment or expectations from me, but I'm curious why you're doing it that way.
Yeah, and I was on board to, like,
Particularly
let me compromise, kind of, like, give me
Mhm.
a toe, and then I don't wanna be, like, duck-footed, I wanna be stable, I wanna be
Right,
strong, I wanna create pressure, I wanna do all these things. No, this is what we do. It's like, "Alright," like, the rest of this is working really well. I'm always open to learning new things and find it and okay, and it's like, "Yeah, I'm never doing that again." That was a long
right.
crawl out of that hole.
I wonder if they would say the same thing to somebody who's, like, bow-legged or club-footed or has an obvious impairment, like, "Hey, we actually always do it this way, so, like, figure
Or
your
is
shit out."
pregnant and they can't, like, their knees don't fit that way at the
I
bottom anymore.
I
Yeah.
can't. I will physically ram my belly into my knees.
Yeah, I can squat very deep and very well, but I need this minor adjustment, and it still looks good, and all the joints are still tracking where the joints want to track, but it's not straight ahead, so it doesn't count or something. Yeah,
What an arbitrary rule.
yeah, completely. It was bonkers. Uh, Coming back to form in general, I thought it might be fun. We did it a little bit with squats already, but to kind of lay out some examples of different forms for different reasons. Like, and the
Mm,
2 the 2 I came with were both deadlift related because I feel like that's a place where form gets brought up all the time, that people are
right,
especially worried about technique-wise, scared about
right.
getting hurt. for a bunch of reasons by pulling something off the floor. And I had like different types of deadlift, and then I had different types of pulling things off the floor. By which I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so deadlift versus sumo deadlift versus trap bar deadlift. They're all
Mm-hmm.
deadlifts.
Mm-hmm.
They're all have some plates on a bar starting on the floor, and it finishes when you're standing up, joint stacked, more or less locked out.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, it's basically the same movement, but they look pretty different, all
Oh,
three of
so
them.
different. Trap bar
Completely.
looks much more squatty in nature.
Much more, as it should. And if you don't know what a trap bar is, dear listener, dear watcher, it's a bar that goes around your body. Usually it's kind of an octagon with some handles. So you can stand right in the middle, and the weights are exactly on either side of your ankles. So you can stand right in the middle. It's like a center loaded deadlift, which is a lot more comfortable for a lot of people, as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
having the bar slightly in front of you, which is a little trickier for most people. And then the sumo
Yeah.
is a very wide legged stance, extremely popular, especially in powerlifting circles. And kind of quote unquote conventional deadlift is usually feet right under your hips.
Right. For me, a bunch of different bench variations come to mind
Totally.
because there are, I mean, tons of reasons why we might choose a neutral grip, meaning palms face each other, like towards your body,
Hmm.
or a wider grip, or wanting a back arch versus wanting a flat back, right? There's all different kinds of reasons why we might want to manipulate our setup on fundamentally the same movement, right? A bench press is lower the bar, press the bar, right?
Yep.
But what if I add a 30-degree incline? What if I have my feet on risers? What if I have my feet pulled back to me and I'm pressing the big toe really firmly into the ground? What if I'm wider? What if I'm in a neutral grip? What if I'm at a 45-degree angle? What if I'm doing it with dumbbells? What if I'm going full range versus using a block, right? They all are fundamentally a bench, and there are infinite reasons why I might choose to do something differently. And somebody who's tied to the kind of powerlifting ideal of back arched, feet back towards you, kind of scorpioning in nature, digging the shoulder blades into the bench, might look at somebody who's doing, say, a floor press and be like, that's a waste of your time. Is it? Is it because maybe I'm training to be able to press my toddler over my head when I'm on the ground? And in that case, it's exactly what I need to be doing. And your like art scorpion bullshit is not useful for me.
And there's all of the variations that Weezy just described. There are really good reasons to do all of them. And there's really good reasons to do all of them for strong, healthy people. They
Yeah.
all do slightly different things. They're all working different things. And overwhelmingly, most people's goal isn't to have the biggest bench number. If you're
Right.
competitive and that's your number,
Right.
it's great. But we're not benching because we want to be better at the bench. We're benching because it's a really efficient way to move a lot of weight in this kind of horizontal or mostly horizontal plane that we
Yeah.
can, navigate all these variations around, so the rest of our life is better. So we can
Right.
I always think of bench when I used to explain like good bench technique, especially not exclusively, but for the most part, with if we're benching a bar, we don't want our elbows flared out at shoulder height. I usually tell people about 45 degrees,
Right.
elbows close but not touching. And the example I would give is if you were going to push your car out of the snow, you wouldn't get up here. You would get down here and get ready to push.
Right.
And
That's
now
not a
I'm back in
powerful
New England,
position.
baby. So we are pushing some cars out of the snow this winter. It was I always lit up in Philly if I was like walk because I would walk to work every day, and when I would walk to work on a snowy day and see someone stuck, here we go. Hey, you want a hand? No, I've been practicing. Let's go. And that's what I
I've
think
been
of bench
training
pressing
for
as.
this.
Yeah, I'm
I've
I'm
been
honestly
waiting for you.
indifferent as to what my bench PR is. PRs are cool. PRs are fun. I have them all written down, but that isn't the point. So the reason we choose each movement is the stimulus, is the end goal.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Another kind of form thing that and first of all, like, pour one out for every woman who's ever posted a video of her benching, and some dude jumps in to be like, "Why are you arching? That's really dangerous. You're going to hurt yourself that way. That bench doesn't count." If I never hear someone say an exercise doesn't count for the rest of my life, it'll be too soon.
And why is it like overwhelmingly men commenting on women's videos?
I mean,
Did you know that that's wrong? No, actually for me it's exactly correct. I love this is me going on a side quest mentally. I love it when some gym Chad has a lifter pop up on his algorithm and leaves like a scathing like, this is terrible and should be illegal, how dare you, and it's like a decorated Olympian or a doctor of physical therapy or something, and overwhelmingly she puts him on blast. I live for that shit. I love it so much. Jim Chad getting just schooled, and he probably is like, well, she's a doctor and she still benches wrong. Ugh, get bent.
yeah. That actually isn't very effective to help your snatch technique. That's a gold medal winner, sir. I would watch your tongue. Like, you're out
It's
of your mind.
interesting. Right. It's interesting that you say that because I am, in fact, employed at very much the thing that you were telling me I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. The non-experts people trying to jump in. And it's always like so much of it comes from insecurity. So
Right.
much of it comes from desperate to have some authority over something. Occasionally, like, let's give some people the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes they're trying to help and they're just
Right.
wrong. They're talking about things they don't know about,
That
which is,
doesn't sound like any man I've ever met in my life.
I was gonna say, like, you want to just pick a topic and I can do an hour? Like, yeah, what do you want to know? Let's go. If people have caught on, like, I can just keep talking.
I cannot. I would just shrink into under my desk.
Well, let's hedging back toward technique wise, another movement that, like, I'm glad you brought up arching on the bench because that gets brought up all the time. Uh, Anytime I post a Jefferson curl, someone
Oh,
comes for me versus a deadlift.
why are you doing that? Your back
Why would
should
people
stay
do that?
straight. Should it? Have you ever sneezed? Like
Have you ever
ever in your life? Did
rolled
you
out of
keep your
bed?
spine?
Exactly. And for people who don't know, Jefferson curl, I don't know if I can describe it really well. It's the opposite of a braced back deadlift. So imagine getting your back as curvy as you can, all the way bent down, as compressed as you can, and then lifting one vertebrae at a time until you're up again, usually holding some load. I typically do it on an
Right.
elevated surface because I'm trying to get a little more length, and holding a dumbbell, kettlebell bar kind of below my
Mhm.
toes and getting really bendy. Am I doing it with 500 pounds? No. Do I think people should? I think there's really limited benefits to doing super heavy Jefferson curls. I do think there are benefits to doing Jefferson curls.
Right. I like to describe a Jefferson curl as you're going to become a shrimp and then you're going to unbecome a shrimp
I think that's much more clear than what I said.
or a candy cane, depending on who I'm speaking to.
Depending on how they choose to celebrate.
Or how I feel. Well, they might not eat shrimp or they might be like shrimps is bugs,
Yeah.
which is true.
But there are people who have been told your back always needs to be straight, you always need to be braced, you need to, X, Y, and Z. And in certain cases, in certain movements, that's correct. Like, it's not
Right.
wrong, but there's also lots of cases where it isn't correct. Your spine is
Right.
meant to move and twist and bend and flex and extend and lengthen and compress and do all of these things. And we strongly feel you should probably practice a lot of that stuff so we can maintain it.
Right. This brings to mind for me like the idea of keeping the weight really close to you for the integrity of your low back. And like, yes,
Mhm.
okay, that's all well and good. But then what happens if I need to pick up the bag of salt from Costco at the very back of the pallet and it's 18 inches in front of my body at the very bottom,
Yeah,
right? What
100%.
what happens? And I'm using that as an example because we are on a well and we have to use like water softener salt. And the bag is about 50 pounds. And it is often in a dusty, somewhat unreachable corner
Right.
of Costco. And
Inevitably.
so, right, that's when, okay, do I have the ability to do like a full range Jefferson variation with the weight further away from me than I probably have practiced?
And we've said it before, but new range of motion is weak range of motion. So if
Yeah,
we practice getting relatively strong, and that's an important modifier,
right,
relatively strong in most effective ranges of motion, most of life will be a little bit easier.
right. You don't need to be the strongest, but you do need to be strong enough.
Strong enough, 100%. That kind of dovetails into another aspect I thought would be useful to talk about this, and that's kind of the case for good enough technique. And that
Hmm.
we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but and I see this a lot, especially with fitness professionals, especially with wellness and medical professionals. I have kind of a sub niche of clients who are like coaches and therapists and doctors and things like that.
Hmm.
And those people put themselves on video and they see everything. And I'll get these questions of like, should I manipulate this joint? I feel like this erector could have been slightly better braced. I feel like, and like, I mean, you're not
I mean,
wrong,
kind of.
but honestly, you'd get more out of this exercise if you stopped analyzing while you were doing it and just tried to move the goddamn weight.
Oh,
I-
I'm gonna use that.
I'm down to analyze later. Let's analyze later. Is that Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller? If you want to do the next one, we can do analyze later together. I'm trademarking it now, but I'm down to be in the movie.
Great. Sold.
Exactly. But there is good enough technique. There are things that we never want to do on certain movements, and
Hmm.
that's when it becomes like a safety concern. Someone's
Right.
doing something, and this is the only time. And this was another thing I wanted to talk about, that I will speak to someone in a public gym setting, is if I see something that's just dangerous, not
Right.
not great, not ideal, not I could help this person save a year on their lifting, not that, but something where I'm like, you are about to hurt yourself. I,
Right.
I ethically can't walk by you without doing
I'm
something.
wondering if anything specific comes to mind on a call out that you had to do to this tune. Because one comes to mind for me.
What do you got?
It's the only time that I ever interrupted somebody else's class.
Oh,
Um, and the context is that I was also employed at this gym
sure.
in the modality that I was attending class for. And we were doing kipping pull ups. And the coach, who was a newer coach, um, had an athlete who was a tenured athlete, but not necessarily an experienced athlete.
Mm,
If you catch my drift, right? You've
I
been
do.
around a while, but I wouldn't call you seasoned,
Right.
right? Asked, um, hey, can I do these with a chin up grip, kipping pull ups?
Okay.
And coach said, yeah, man, whatever. That sounds great. Whatever allows you to get the job done. Like, all right, so you're about to kip. For anybody listening who doesn't know what that means, it's a really dynamic movement where we're basically swinging on the bar. And the difference between a chin up grip and a pull up grip is that for a pull up grip, your palms are facing away from you. For a chin up grip, palms are facing towards you. Would you like to try swinging with your palms facing towards you? Right? Like that's it. It's begging for an
Yeah.
injury. And so I actually stepped in and said, "Hey, nope, nope. Um, this puts you at risk for any number of injuries. If kipping pull-ups don't feel good to you today, let's do this other thing instead. Please don't ever kip a chin up, here or anywhere else,
Yeah.
unless you would like to injure something."
Yeah. You do not want to be dynamically going into that kind of flexion. That would be if Should you succeed getting there, it's going to be extremely painful. It's probably going to hurt when you hit your hard stop.
Right. Imagine how awful that would feel at the bottom, like at the front of the swing.
That's terrifying. I talked to someone after a squat once and wasn't very judgy, but they had been really like a ton of flexion, a ton of stuff that
Mm,
actually that looked pretty dangerous to me on the edge of failure. And I very politely asked how it felt, that kind of stuff. And they asked how it looked, and I very politely suggested that I thought it was a little too heavy, and I saw some places where it might be falling apart. And they confessed that
mhm,
it didn't feel good and they were worried about it, but they've been trying to go heavy today, and we decided together they'd gone heavy enough. The actual
mhm.
place where I've stepped in twice that I remember is people's setup being dangerous. So the kind of thing
Mm,
where especially someone doing a lift where the likelihood of them dropping the bar is pretty high. So maybe a heavy press or something dynamic like a jerk or something where they're going
right,
overhead, and
right,
or heavy squatting like front squatting, and they have a bunch of weights kind of on the floor around them. So if
right.
and when the bar drops, if it hits these weights, it's going to bounce in a bunch of different directions that are pretty unpredictable. And that's
Yep.
when I'll step in and be like, "Hey, time out! I just want to help you out," and kind of clear. I think of it as the field of failure. Like I want my
Yeah.
field of failure clean and empty. So if something doesn't go perfectly, it's no big deal. The bar is designed to be dropped. It's totally fine.
Mhm.
And thinking that that next step isn't always instinctive for people.
Right. I I like to use the example with people for whom this is applicable that, hey, if you wouldn't be comfortable with your own foot being right here underneath you while you're squatting, um, probably nothing else should be either.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, and a thing that people don't think about. Same with pull-ups and gymnastics, swinging on stuff too. The amount of times I've
Yeah.
stopped people, I'm like, "Hey, there's a box here and a dumbbell here. How are you going to make sure you don't land on them when you come off these rings or this
Right.
bar?" Like, "Oh, oh
Huh.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Let's not find out. Or this reminds me of one of my many grievances against CrossFit HQ, but there was a year that there were rope climbs programmed and the ropes were a little longer than the floor.
Yep."
And it was brought up and they were like, sorry, it just like we're out of time. We got to go.
We
And
ran
it
out of sharp
created,
objects. No knives, no
right.
scissors.
I'm so sorry. There's just nothing to be done about this. They're just long. And that's a huge risk for a rolled ankle.
Yep, and people got hurt.
Yeah.
I was not coaching a class, but I was in a gym when an athlete did exactly that. The ropes were far too long that were attached to the thing, and they
Hmm.
were rushing, trying to get something, basically jumped off in a place they've been told not to jump from. Like they did some stuff they
Sure.
were told not to do, and one foot landed on the rope and they rolled really hard and they were like on crutches for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Huge
That
bummer.
tracks. Huge
And
bummer.
so safety stuff, that's a great reason for technique. That's a great reason for
Yeah.
form. Like that's why don't jump off the rope 15 feet up, even if the cool kids are doing it, because there's lots of uncontrollable factors and you're just a missile. But
Right.
especially for like resistance training, like a lot of it is good enough, and worrying too much about getting perfect technique will get in the way of the results you actually want. Like
Right.
chasing those results, you can improve. It is perfectly acceptable and frankly more likely to chase the results and do good enough work. Your technique will get better and better as you do it.
Right.
We want guardrails, right? Like we don't want to stray into more risk than reward. We certainly don't want to stray into unsafe. But
Right.
just like if you've ever run to like one of those dummy coaches who are like, until you can snatch a PVC pipe perfectly, you don't deserve to move a barbell. Well, that's never going to happen because they move really differently. So why don't we just
Right.
get
There's
kind of close, watch the move, and be
right.
like, oh yeah, is it beautiful? No. Is it safe? Yes. Great. Now we have some place to build on. And by the way, this
Right.
person is here because they want to be strong, mobile, active, happy, capable, etc., not because they want to pose for your demonstration video.
Right. This is giving me a little bit of PTSD on the CrossFit level 1.
Totally. Totally.
This is how it looks. This is how it must look. If it doesn't look like this, it is wrong.
100.
All right.
Did you ever do the level 2?
No, and I am going, well, maybe if somebody on staff listens to this and was like, fuck this bitch. Um I plan to I had a level 1 and my level 1 actually lapsed because I
Sure.
decided I'm never doing CrossFit again. This is stupid. I hate it.
Right.
I'm done. And then, as is often the case, there became an opportunity that I really wanted to pursue and I needed to cross the level 1. So, um marched back in after already being a coach for almost 7 years at that point. I had just found out I was pregnant with Jack Jack. Like, we're
Oh,
talking like 2 days prior. And so I sent an email to say, "Hey, I just found out I'm pregnant. I have a history of miscarriage. Um, I am not going to be going hard, and I don't owe anybody an explanation for why, but here is why. And if there's pressure applied, I'm probably going to cry."
yeah.
So if
Heads
you
up.
don't want heads
If
up,
you wanna manage everyone else's experience, I'm
you
about
will
to roll
not.
in. The pin
Right.
has been pulled. It's up to you what you do
Right.
now.
Well, and I'm not this like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed like I've been doing CrossFit for a little while and I've decided to get my level
Right.
1. Like, no, I'm grizzled. We're in it. I've I've seen a few things.
I'm just here so I don't
Um
get fined.
Right. But to answer your question, when it's time to re up, which will be in, 2.5 years, I will likely get my level 2 because then that will also satisfy the requirement for my NASM CPT for that year.
Got it, totally. Yeah, I did the level 2. When I did the level 2, I had been full-time coaching CrossFit for 7 or 8 years at that point, and it was a local one, and another coach I worked with was gonna do it, so we were gonna carpool, and I was like, "Great, sure. It's
Yeah.
close, it's fine." I did it. I actually knew one of the people who was running it. I knew 2 of the people who were running it pretty well from, like, training CrossFit in New York. I was like, "Oh, this is fun." And,
Yeah.
went up and said hi, and that was a good time, but there's a bunch of the, like, "All right, you go do a squat or whatever, and all of these coaches are gonna give you cues." And it's really a test for
Right.
them, right? It's a test for coaches picking out cues, and I didn't really wanna be there, and I had been not entirely 2 of the people leading the seminar were awesome, and 2 of them were pretty checked out and pretty not awesome. And I was pretty
Mm,
bummed out that checked out, not awesome people were being permitted to do this kind of work on a thing that costs a lot of money and et cetera, et cetera. And
right.
I was pretty disappointed at the showing overall. So by the time I was put in a circle and asked to do things, and someone was like, "You should move your feet like this." It's like, I can't do that. My hip labrum hurts when I do that. This is why I do that. And I just waited for my next cue. I was just like the most know it all, combative, no fun guy to cue. And finally, like, the person I had known for 9 years or something came around to watch, and they're "Yeah," like, "So everyone, this is what happens when you have an expert coach who doesn't really wanna be cued. Is anything he's doing dangerous? No? It's probably okay. Alright, Justin, why don't
It's
you
probably
step out?"
fine.
"Thanks, Denise, I'm sorry I'm a jerk today. I didn't mean to be a jerk." It's like, "You're not a jerk, I understand." It's like, "Okay, sorry."
Dark Justin showed up at that L2.
Yes, yeah, 100%. I was so bummed. These 2 dudes just, like, sat in the back texting and not paying attention, and I was deeply unimpressed
You
with
were
those yahoos.
like, how did you get on seminar staff? And who
Yeah,
can I talk to about it?
yeah. They're
Yeah.
a kind of wrapping up form because as we've talked about, there's infinite variations on movement and infinite kind of reasons to do certain movements. Someone out there is listening and they have the question, even if they haven't formulated it. Well, how do I know if I'm doing it right? How do I know? I know what my goals are. I want to be
Mhm.
stronger, or I want to be fitter, or I want to be able to do these things, or I don't want my hip to
Mhm.
hurt anymore. My coach gave me these exercises. How do I know if it's right? How do you explain things like that
Mm.
to someone without going on for 4 paragraphs or trying to become a anatomy
Mm.
text?
Do you feel this in the place where you're trying to either get stronger or heal? Great. Is it tolerable, particularly if we're dealing with somebody who is trying to heal from something, right? Can you breathe through it? Okay. If you've got to hold your breath to get a rep out, if I'm not talking about somebody standing up a really heavy squat because that
Right.
is the type of sound I make
No,
standing
we're
up a
talking
heavy
about
squat.
pain.
We're talking about pain. Um, Great. Something might need to change. And the something that might need to change could be the range of motion, how far you're traveling, the tempo, how slow or how fast you are moving, the weight, what you're choosing to move. And then finally, the very last variable that we can change that is my least favorite to change is the movement entirely. Right? Hey, is it do you feel it where you would expect to feel it? And if you don't know where you should be feeling it, can I help you get some clarity on that? Is it tolerable? And could you do it like another 2 times? Or are we totally, totally gassed? Or are we, yeah, I could do another set of 15 in like 10 seconds, right? Those are the questions. It needs to be hard enough. I need to feel it where I would expect to be feeling it. And it needs to be tolerable. Those 3 things are true, it's probably good enough.
I think that's perfect. If you're listening to this
Wow.
and you're wondering, use your little rewind, go back 2 minutes or whatever it was, and listen to that again because it's exactly right. The only when I'm in person with people, 95% of the time, the only question I ask them about an exercise is how it felt. So I
Right.
know what it
Where do you
looked like.
feel that? What do you feel?
What does it feel like? Like, oh, because I'm like, yeah, that looks like a great RDL. It's like, I feel it in my back. My back's lighting up. It's great. I was like, that's not what we're going
Ah,
for. We need to change something. It looked right, but it didn't
right,
feel right. And the feeling is actually connected to the muscles and the muscles and the joints and the ligaments. Those are the things that we're actually working with. So
right,
now I'm discarding what I saw. Did it look like a safe, beautiful RDL? It did, but it's not doing what I wanted to do.
right,
So because it doesn't feel right, so now we're going to adjust things. I'm the company's called Feel Strong. Like I'm always after what does it feel like? That's going to lead
right,
us where we want to go. Yeah, that was
right.
beautifully said.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's true. Anything
Where
else
next?
about form, technique, things you think we haven't dug into enough? And if you're listening to
Mm,
this, I appreciate all the questions and comments and things that people send in. Keep them coming. We will
mhm,
absolutely do more on these things if you think there's stuff we're not uncovering or maybe not
mm.
uncovering sufficiently enough for you.
I think a good summary is there's no such thing as perfect form, right? Because there's just so much nuance to it. And so if you're listening to this and you're caught in the loop of, well, I want to do it right so that I'm moving in the direction of my goals and I want to understand what right is. Hello, I've been there and it's not helpful, right? Your pursuit of perfect is getting in the way of any progress. So just like do it good enough.
Yeah. Pretty good is plenty. And all
Yeah.
of the other stuff, the intention and the effort and all of that is what will really deliver the results. The people who stay still trying to make things perfect are the people who never get past the first sentence of writing the novel. Don't worry.
Right.
We're gonna do 10,000 drafts on this squat.
Right.
As long as we're starting in a place that's good enough, that's more than enough. Let's carry on.
Right. And if you're listening to this and you are working with a coach who is really particular about things being perfect, I might encourage you to find a different coach.
Agreed. Yeah, there's some real zealots out there who I think like to hear themselves talk more than
Yeah.
maybe get things done and have got this sort of like I don't like a guru. Gurus really rub me the wrong way. I don't like a guru.
I'm going to put a big sign that says guru on my wall. Movement guru.
Just like green neon.
Welcome to Sustained, where we're movement purists. I will be your guru leading you through a movement experience.
It should be outside your office, Guru with a big arrow like pointing to the door. You can just
Me.
pop out like a Dr. Seuss gremlin. You're like, did
Did
someone go out
someone
to the
order a
Guru?
guru?
Guru here. All right. I think it's a bow on it. Do you want to do some kind of segment?
Yeah, let's do a segment. So this week, this is not Taylor Swift themed. I thought about it. I really, really did, because tomorrow we will be getting new music to hyperfixate over, and I again am using the royal metaphorical we for this.
Actually,
Go on.
can we time out on the segment? Because I thought it
Yeah.
was happening at time of recording. Taylor Swift album drops tomorrow, so you're not going to hear this. I think they're going to hear this in like November. So I'm going to ask you, take
Okay.
2 minutes. I want you to pre-react to the Taylor Swift album. What was the best part? What didn't happen that you wish was going to happen? What was an amazing surprise? What is the?
Mm.
Do you have a track list yet, or does that not exist?
Yeah, we do have a track list.
Okay, what's your favorite
Um,
song?
I am absolutely obsessed with The Life of Ophelia, and
Ex-
the music video is opulent and resonant and extravagant and everything that I could have possibly hoped for. And this was truly the orange doorway that we didn't know we were ever getting or needed.
what's a hidden gem that even some people who have like maybe listened should go back and really dig in? Like, this one's better than you think it is.
The Keep It 100 was in fact kept 100.
If you had to pick one disappointment,
I am devastated that I did not buy the green vinyl.
excellent. We're going to, we're going to hear this in 4 or 5 weeks, and or people will. If you're listening to this and you know Weezy, we should see if this checks out. And reminder of
Mhm,
her
mhm.
analysis.
So, for anybody who's not a Taylor Swift fan, I'm going to let you into our world, as I often do, because I would like, Swifties, some of them are assholes, but many of them are just like, we want other people to experience this also because it's been fun and enjoyable. And I'm not like tone policing other people's celebrations or finding of
Right.
potential Easter eggs, yada, yada, whatever.
See your earlier
There are some
discussion.
people.
There's not one right way to enjoy this.
Right. There's not one right way to enjoy Taylor Swift. You don't need to know all of the lore to consider yourself a Swiftie. You don't even really need to know all of the songs or lyrics. You just have to generally think that she's okay and enjoy the music of hers that you hear. Where was I going with that?
I
Oh,
was going to bring us back to the segment. I don't know what you're doing.
no. It's a very big weekend for
Oh, right,
Swifties,
right.
because not only are we getting a new album at midnight, but also she's going to be on a bunch of radio shows at 3 a.m. tomorrow. And then the movie that is going to take us behind the scenes of the creation of this album is in theaters starting tomorrow. It's 90 minutes long. There are no previews. It starts promptly at showtime, and you are encouraged to be in your seat with your beverage ready to go. Nobody leaves. And it's going to premiere the music video for The Fate of Ophelia. And then she's also going to be on a number of talk shows over the next, call it 5 to 7 days, which is really, really important if you're a Swiftie who's been around a while, because she has not done a live long form appearance in years, right? Like all of the kind of memes of Taylor giving a cool comment on a talk show is probably a decade old. Right.
Yep.
And so we haven't gotten the opportunity to have those because she was so private for a period of time. And um Swifties are about to be like feral and intolerable, and I'm lumping myself into that. I quite honestly don't know how I'm gonna find the time to think of a topic for our next recording, because between the gym and Sustained and um existing clients and Taylor Swift, I don't know how I have more brain space left. So, we're going to try And also, it's a really big weekend to be a Swiftie. And so, looking back, this would have been 5 or 6 weeks ago now when you're listening to it. If your Swiftie friends were totally unhinged, just let us just let us have this. Just
First
let
of
us.
all, we saw it coming.
Right.
Like, this tsunami
Should
came
we
with
do?
an arrival date. Like, yep.
Oh, you said the tsunami. You know the verbiage.
I just said it because I thought it was a good analogy. I actually don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, wonderful. Um, Tsunami starts with TS.
Mhm.
And so when she is doing a lot of things, people will use the allegory of a tsunami.
That's cute. I always
It
just
is
think of
cute.
it as a unstoppable, uncontrollable force that is the fandom.
Well, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah.
Also that.
Uh, Also that. Um, so yes, Swifties, unhinged. Maybe intolerable to you if you think the culture is stupid. Hopefully, you just muted your people
Yeah,
six
just
weeks
and
ago.
that's yeah, all you can do. Just scroll on. It's fine. Let
Right.
them do their
It's
thing.
fine.
Let people enjoy
It's fine.
stuff. Life is hard
Let
enough.
people let people have things.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's
All
fine.
right, this is
It's fine.
entirely a tangent that I built, but I had meant to talk about
Mhm.
if we had the opportunity to do it kind of just before it came
Mhm.
out. I thought it would be fun to make you pre-react to stuff.
Mhm. Mhm. Should we do a segment?
Let's do it.
So the episode that dropped yesterday was the branding episode,
Yes.
and I thought it would be interesting to read you some slogans, and you tell me what the company is.
Ooh, fun. Okay. And I'm assuming you want like a company name?
That's correct. They
Okay.
are all actual slogans, and they all have a legitimate company associated to them.
Great. I'm into it. We'll see.
Fair?
I have no idea how I'm going to do on this, but yeah.
The best a man can get.
Gillette,
That's right.
Boston based.
Bet you can't eat just one.
Oh, yep. Bet you can't eat just one. Okay, it's definitely food. It's um it's not
As
Pringles.
opposed to.
Yeah, I know. Bet you can't eat just one. Oh, oh god. It's not Pringles. I don't think it's Kit Kat.
Five,
There's something. Oh
four,
god. What? It comes in like a
three,
4-pack or something.
two,
I don't
one.
know.
It's Lay's.
Lay's. Okay. Yeah, I was like, it's not Ruffles. Those have ridges.
I don't have sound effects, so I'm just going to count when
That's
I
fair.
am tired of watching you struggle.
You bore me. All right.
Bring in the next peasant.
Yes.
Fly the friendly skies.
Oh, Delta?
United.
United. Okay.
All for freedom. Freedom for all.
Worrisome. Okay.
Yeah,
All for
you
freedom.
should be
All
worried.
for freedom. I should be worried. Is it the ACLU?
No, it is Harley Davidson, the motorcycle company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes. I get it.
yeah, I get it. Live in your world, play in ours.
Ooh, that's fun. That feels like live in your world, play in ours. All play. PlayStation?
Yeah, that's right. Very nice. Belong anywhere.
Belong anywhere. Belong anywhere. So a company, I have no idea. A company that purports to like help you fit in or feel better or something that can like give you peace or make it like it's gonna work. Any is it like a dumb accessory that you can wear? It's not a credit card. It's not gonna be like American Express or something.
5, 4, 3,
Ray-Ban.
2. Airbnb.
Oh, that's okay.
Open happiness.
Open happiness. Okay.
Open happiness.
So something when you open it, you're excited. Maybe
You're
something like a
happy.
distinctive packaging. I really don't
Mhm.
know.
Very
Um,
distinctive, in fact.
very distinctive. Toblerone?
No, Coke.
Okay. Yeah.
hmm hmm Democracy dies in darkness.
It's the Washington Post.
That's right. It's finger licking good.
That's KFC, formerly
That's
Kentucky
right.
Fried Chicken.
That's right. This one is insane. Do it daily. Do
Okay.
it daily.
Listeners, just insert the first 8 jokes you assume that I was gonna say, so I don't have to edit them out later so people don't think less of me.
Do it daily.
Do it daily. Oh, some some yoga company or something. I don't. Oh, Nespresso.
5. No. Duolingo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't gonna get there.
All the news that's fit to print.
Oh, that's the Onion.
Incorrect. That's the New York Times.
Oh, I'm backwards. The New York Times is all the news that's fit to print. The Onion is all the news that's print to fit. Sorry. This is a play on the New York Times one, and I didn't listen closely enough. Yeah.
hmm hmm There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's.
I is that MasterCard?
That's correct. A diamond is forever.
Oh boy. A diamond is forever. I don't think it's Zales. I think it's the people who own like 90% of the diamonds. So I'm going to say De Beers.
That's correct.
Monsters.
Expect more, pay less.
I hope it's Payless.
No, it's Target, and I was shocked by that.
Expect more, pay less? Oh,
Expect more, pay less.
that's first of all not true. And I haven't been in Target in a long time.
Right. It's actually, I don't think true on either front anymore
No.
because Target has become more like Walmart, but still
Yeah.
Target prices.
Yeah. It's not very good. They don't keep things in stock and it's kind of expensive.
Right. Quality never goes out of style.
Ooh, who does? Hmm. Some. This feels like LL Bean.
No, it's Levi's. Close,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think.
Paralateral kind
Adjacent.
of thing. Yeah.
hmm Last one. You ready?
Okay.
Eat fresh.
I know it. Subway.
That's correct. That's correct.
Phew.
Um, as is tradition, I took Ted through this, and he did pretty exceptional at it. But we are big fans of the cult classic Community,
Yes.
and on the show Community, during one season, there was one character who was just literally the human personification of Subway, and they called him Subway, and
Yep.
he'd like walk around the campus, eat fresh, eat fresh, eat fresh. And so when I said eat fresh to Ted, he goes, "Oh, eat fresh, eat fresh, eat fresh," and like didn't. It
Didn't
took
get
him a
there.
minute to get there. He was like, "I see the guy. He's the guy that's the shop." Oh fuck. It was really really funny.
Yeah. You would think it would be like $5 foot long, even though that hasn't been true for a long time. But yeah,
No, it's
eat
like
fresh.
$7 and change.
I think yeah, they've gotten very expensive, and I don't.
hmm
They were doing like a $5 chip recently or some nonsense. Subway's lost.
Mm,
At one point,
yeah.
Subway was the largest fast food chain on the planet,
Wow.
like for
That must have
years.
been in the that must have been in the Jared Fogle years.
Yes, I think in the Fogel years, and then they lost their
Yikes.
way in any number of ways, and I think have very significantly receded and have made a real mess of things.
I do still, I mean, we're not talking like regularly, but I enjoy a sweet onion chicken teriyaki
Yeah,
on honey oat or honey wheat or whatever it is. Like if I'm at an airport and they have that, I'm probably going to do that because whatever I eat in that place, if I have to, is going to give me a tummy ache regardless.
I an airport is the place for a Subway. I've for many years I've really disliked the smell of their bread. In the early days,
Mm,
maybe they still do it. I don't have a Subway around me, but they used to leave the part of their marketing was they would leave the store door open. They would purposely prop the
yeah.
door, and the smell of the bread was supposed to like bring people in. And I don't know if
Lure
it
you in?
changed really, and because
Mm,
I remember it smelling good and being like, oh, this is interesting. They're like making their own bread and doing things, and they have fresh ingredients, and this is great. And as things changed, and I'm sure private equity got involved and quality decreased, like the smell
Yeah.
changed, and I don't like the smell. But if I'm in an airport, yeah, Subway is like, I know
Right.
what I'm getting. It is going to be a 5.5 out of 10, but I can get some turkey and iceberg lettuce, and it'll be okay.
Yeah. Right. Um, this could be absolutely a side quest. I mean, this is what's a podcast if not just saying stuff. I got plenty of stuff to say. Um, but I'm devastated to report that one of our favorite restaurants here in Columbus has gone under because of private equity doing exactly that. And it's it's so disappointing. It was called Hot Chicken Takeover.
Okay.
Um, and they did like different levels of heat, Nashville style hot chicken. Um, and we would occasionally order an entire bird. And then, hey,
Really?
that's going to be like enough chicken for 2 or 3 meals. And also, we're going to be able to make bone broth out of these bones.
Mhm.
It's just going to slap. It's going to be so good for like $35. And they were employing people who were rehabilitating in life. And then private equity came in, tanked the quality of the product, started paying people less, so the quality of the service plummeted too. And the last restaurant just shut their doors within the last couple of weeks, and devastated by it.
It is unfortunately a really common story, especially with that kind of like small business, especially something which is trendy.
Yeah.
Like hot chicken has been around for 5 or 6 years at least. Certainly in
Hmm.
like LA and New York is like an up and coming trend that is going places. And so one of the things private equity will do with that kind of idea is look around for other companies who are doing it, who already has a
Yeah.
concept that we think we can expand on, sink a bunch of money, expand too fast, and should it go well, they'll make a bunch of money. Should it go poorly, they can still liquidate and leverage
Right.
every part of the company. And then when it inevitably goes under, it's still a success for private equity, which is
Right.
this is the whole
Yeah.
model is built on being awful and only
Right.
caring about money no matter what happens to people or quality or service or goods or anything else.
Right. I might be totally misspeaking here, but it is my understanding that because the private equity are not the people who the leases were actually through, the landlords are trying to go after the people who sold the company for back rent.
I
And so
That
it's
would be
just like
completely unsurprising.
it's just gross in
That
every kind of way.
stinks.
And I'm just sad to lose
Yeah.
a staple that I enjoyed.
And you lost the community lost a great business.
Hmm.
People lost a great opportunity to work out of rehab. People lost a great quality thing that just made the neighborhood better.
Yeah.
But someone got a $27,000 bonus this quarter for some kind of KPI.
So anyway, eat fresh.
Yeah, so eat fresh, you fucking monsters. Private equity is only allowed to eat Subway from now on. When I become king, it's going to be the first thing I do.
Team, this was Training Partners. I'm Weezy Shoemaker reporting live from Sustained HQ. That's Justin McClintock. We'll see you next time.
Later, team.
Training partners, here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners. We're ready to shine.